The mother and father of 2 children found decapitated in their Lancaster home are now charged for their murders. An investigation started when the children's father, Maurice Taylor Sr., didn't show up for appointments. 13-year-old Malaka Taylor and 12-year-old Maurice Taylor Jr. were found dead. The Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office says their 8- and 9-year-old brothers had been shown the bodies of their dead siblings and forced to stay in their rooms for several days without food. Taylor was charged with murder and is being held on $4.2 million bail. The children's mother, Natalie Brothwell, was arrested Tuesday and charged with 2 counts of murder and 2 counts of felony child endangerment. Katie Johnston for CBSN, Los Angeles.
Welcome back to Operation Evil. This is episode 148, California couple decapitated their children. I'm your host, Nyoka. Before we jump into this case, I want to take a moment to welcome any new listeners, thank the ones who keep coming back, and let everyone know that I love and appreciate your support. Warning, of course, there should be a warning, as every episode, but this episode contains disturbing content. Listener discretion is always advised. Dun dun. On November 29th, 2020, a California couple, 34-year-old Maurice Taylor Sr. and 44-year-old Natalie Brothwell, were charged with the murder of their 2 children. The victims were the couple's 12-year-old daughter, Malika Taylor, and 13-year-old son, Maurice Taylor Jr. Those 2 kids were stabbed and decapitated. Their bodies were left on display. And the 2 other children, both boys, ages 8 and 9 at the time, were supposedly shown their siblings' bodies and forced to stay in their bedrooms for several days without food. They were discovered when their father failed to show up for work. He worked at a physical therapy center and had been conducting training sessions over the internet during the pandemic. So, some of his clients contacted authorities after he failed to show up for his scheduled appointments. They were worried about a gas leak in the home and asked the family to be checked on. The father faces 2 felony counts, each of murder and child abuse under the circumstances or conditions likely to cause great bodily injury or death. He must prove mentally fit for trial before the case can move forward. So let's dive into this case. Maurice allegedly killed the children the Sunday after Thanksgiving, then kept the bodies inside the house for the next 5 days. On December 4th, the bodies were discovered and removed the father from the home while strapped and handcuffed to the stretcher. Los Angeles County firefighters were called around 7:50 a.m. to the family's home. According to a news release from the sheriff's department, quote, fire personnel responded and made entry into the location, at which time they saw a male and a female deceased inside the location. Fire personnel immediately called LA County Sheriff's Department, Lancaster station deputies, which responded and secured the location, end quote. That's when the sheriff's department deputies found the children's body in separate bedrooms in the home. On December 8th, prosecutors charged him, but during this time, the mother, who was in the house, was not a suspect, but questioned by investigators. But soon, she too would be charged with murder. Her role in the murders wasn't immediately clear, but she would end up arrested at the end of September in 2021. Now, during the father Maurice's hearing, he asked to represent himself. I actually listened to the video of the judge speaking to him, and he kept saying that it was against his faith to have someone else represent him. He explained that he has a great relationship with God. The judge tried to explain the benefits of having an attorney and all the things that come with it. Just like even having access to things to get documents prepared, because they expect, even if you're representing yourself, you have to properly represent yourself in court. There's no excuses. But even still, even round and round, this this judge really, really tried to like get this through to him, that it was just having someone represent you is a good thing. But he was like, no, it's my right. I'm not going to do it. It's against my faith. But I mean, is it against his faith to murder his children? He didn't even seem to care about anything but himself. He was more concerned with how the police handled him during the arrest and the threats to his life that he claims that he is experiencing. He said he was thrown into the police vehicle and he said he couldn't breathe. And in attempts on his life were like being threatened in jail. And it was due to this hearing, because I think that he honestly thought if he represented himself, he would somehow have protection or like not be in this facility with these other people threatening him. I'm not really sure what was going on in his head, and the judge didn't either. And that's when they ordered a mental health evaluation to see if he was like fit to stand trial. So that was an interesting video to watch. Now, I couldn't find a whole bunch about his character and like what he was like, other than one of his clients, which I assumed was one that called the authorities to begin with, that was worried about him and his family. His client of 7 years described him as mellow and reliable. And shortly after his arrest, I mean, that's how they explained him. And they also said that he appeared to be under, quote, tremendous amounts of pressure. Think of the nicest person that you know, then multiply that by 5. He works so hard to support himself. Unfortunately, we don't know enough to say what happened or what didn't happen, end quote. That person also said that their marriage seemed contentious based on phone calls that he received from his wife at the gym where he worked prior to taking his classes online. And he said, quote, it was embarrassing. You could hear her yelling at him. He'd be very apologetic, and then she'd start yelling at him, end quote. Now, when it came to Natalie, Lynn, a friend of the children's maternal grandmother, spoke out on the family's behalf and told ABC7 that Natalie, who lives out of state, was pushed away over the years. Lynn also created a GoFundMe page to help the grandmother go to California to see her daughter and remaining grandchildren. And she wrote that Natalie was, quote, taken from their lives by a controlling son-in-law. She said, there was a time when she was in their lives every day, and they are her world. There's no way to put into words truly what any of our grandchildren mean to us. She continued to love them, end quote. In court, Natalie claimed that she was innocent and, quote, did not murder my children, end quote, and instead tried to save them, per NBC4 Los Angeles. Natalie's mother also claimed her daughter's innocence in a statement adding that Maurice had ruined so many lives. Now, in response, the judge said there was no evidence of a genuine remorse from the defendants and that there was silence where accountability should be. Prosecutors called this a monstrous act of violence that left their community stunned. Ellen, a close family friend, said outside of the courthouse, quote, how do you put into words that 2 children were beheaded? This stays with all of us. This is never going to wash off, end quote. Ellen said she still cannot understand why her friend Natalie was complicit in the children's murders. She said that the couple's relationship had been violent for years and that she had urged Natalie to leave. She said, quote, she was doing what we were raised to believe. You stand by your man, you have a family, and you raise your children, end quote. Now, I took to Facebook on this when I saw that A lot of people commented about this case and when they were arrested. And I'm just going to read a few of these comments for you. One person said, "I hope the prison guards look the other way and let the other prisoners have their way with them." Another one said, "Wood, chipper, feet, first." Another person said, "I'm sure I can find a machete in my shed somewhere." Another person said, "Bring the guillotine back. Horrendous what these adults did." And lastly, another person wrote, "Death sentence should be the only sentence. Hopefully they will get where they are going." In November 2025, the couple was found guilty on 2 counts of first-degree murder, along with the special circumstance of multiple murder. They were also convicted of child abuse likely to cause great bodily injury or death. Finally, on February 2nd, 2026, which wasn't that long ago, a couple weeks ago, both of them were each sentenced to 6 years in prison, plus 2 consecutive terms of life without the possibility of parole. The couple's 2 surviving children were placed under a 10-year protective order by the court. Now, during my research, I found this website called homicidesurvivorsinc.org. On this site, I found something titled "A Letter to My Daughter" that was written on May 2nd, 2022 by Natalie Brothwell. And I can't say 100% this is it, but the names match, the years match, the age would match, like everything matches. So I had to share this with you guys. So this letter said, "A letter my daughter Malika on her 15th birthday by Natalie Brothwell. May 2nd, 2022. We should be celebrating your 15th birthday, but time forever froze you at 13. There's not a second that goes by that I don't miss you. A piece of my heart went to heaven with you. You were an amazing and talented artist at just 13. I imagine that today you would be opening gifts of art supplies, maybe experimenting with paint and canvas now, and I'd probably straighten your hair like you loved me to do, then put it in a fancy braid. You'd wear your favorite yellow dress and pink heart necklace, and always the princess that you were, you'd wear a tiara too. You'd pick your favorite song from Frozen. You loved Elsa and Anna since you were a small girl. My little munchkin with the squeaky cute voice, you would dance and twirl around singing Let It Go, Let It Go. To celebrate, I'd make you a yellow cake. Maybe retry one of those volcano cakes, where yellow frosting and glittery golden sugar would pour over a vanilla cake, dazzling your eyes. I would make your famous heart-shaped pizza, too. Laughter, hugs, and happy birthday to you echoing through the house. Cleo, your kitty, sitting on top of your shoulders. You brought sunshine to our lives. Your light shone brighter than the sun. And you loved all with that same intensity. If only these words could bring to form what I've written, I'd crawl into these pages and be with you again. I hope up there in heaven, you look down and see that the many people thinking of you today and realize how loved you are and always will be. Mommy loves you so much, baby girl. Happy birthday." So there's that. Do with that what you will. I find it odd. I don't know how to feel about it. Is this her? Would she write? And I gotta tell you, I just don't know how I feel. How does she let her kids were deceased, decapitated, displayed in their bedrooms for days before authorities came in and discovered what happened? They put their other two children in front of their siblings' bodies. I don't know, to like threaten them or to show punishment or show that they were serious, and then lock them in their room and not feed them for days. I just don't understand. I don't understand how this could happen. I never will. And I think that's why these cases really get to me when it comes to children. They lost their voice, and I want to make sure that you hear them because they matter. And these parents don't. They did something horrible, and they need to live with that for the rest of their lives. And it seems like that is the way it's going to go. They will spend the rest of their lives in prison, no possibility of parole, nothing like that. Now, I do want to end this case with what attorney Nathan J. Hockman said, which was, quote, 2 innocent children were brutally murdered, and their young brothers were left to live through unimaginable horror. The jury's verdict delivers justice for these victims and sends a powerful message. Those who commit such evil acts will be held fully accountable, end quote. If you can't get enough of Operation Evil, consider supporting the podcast by joining Patreon or Operation Evil Plus on Buzzsprout. When you join, not only will you have access to exclusive bonus episodes, but you will also get a shout out from me. Operation Evil currently has over 50 exclusive bonus episodes ready for you to binge on. The links to join can always be found in our show notes. Now, if you can't join Patreon or Operation Evil Plus on Buzzsprout, no worries. Consider supporting us for free by rating our show, telling a friend about the podcast, liking or sharing our Facebook page. I appreciate each and every one of you. I really do. I hope you know that. And I will be back next time with a new episode. Goodbye.
Thanks for listening.